Got a 2025 KTM 300 XCW. We just got some Bulletproof Designs radiator guards and a KTM OEM fan. We're going to be installing it. Let's get into it. Alright, so to get to the radiators, we're going to remove the seat, then we're going to remove the tank and shrouds, and then it should be pretty easy from there. Alright, so let's remove the seat, just an 8mm bolt right here. We're just going to pull up on the seat. It's going to pop right off. Alright, so to remove the tank, we got an electrical connector right here. Then we've got another 8mm bolt down in here. Alright, we've got a fuel line right here we need to pull off. Just squeeze it and pull, and some fuel's going to run out, so be prepared for that. Just a little button right there you just press in. Really easy to take off. On another note, there is a little filter right here that you want to replace regularly. Just goes right in the line. Alright, and then we've got 2 bolts on the shroud, and this is going to be on both sides of the tank. So 4 bolts total. Alright, so removing the tank is a little tricky. The fenders you're going to want to pull out on both sides. And then there's these plastic tabs right here you're going to want to pull out. Just like that. You don't want to break them off or anything. You just want to get them unwedged on both sides. And then you can pull the tank straight up. And obviously you want the fuel tank cap off, or at least the hose disconnected. On the tank, these are kind of the tabs that you have to pull out from the frame in order to take off the tank. Just pull them out and it'll lift right out. The OEM guards on this bike they're not too bad. They're plastic. So if you're on rocks and you're dropping your bike, probably break eventually, but it will hold up for a little while. But here in Idaho, I want to get as much protection as I can way off in the back country, so we're going to be swapping that out with a heavy-duty Bulletproof Designs one. Alright, so to pull up this guard, you got 2 bolts right here. Both of them are 8mm. We're going to take both those off, and then the opposite side is the same. We're just going to tab. There's some tabs right here that you just kind of need to bend away. And there's a couple tabs on the top and on the bottom. So you got a tab right here, and then right here, and right here. So there's 4 tabs holding it on there. Pretty easy to take off. Alright, so here's the OEM KTM radiator kit. All it comes with is a bracket, the fan motor. You've got 4 long sheet metal screws, and these hold the fan into the bracket. You've got 2 short sheet metal screws, and this holds the bracket onto the fan on the outside. Or the bracket onto the radiator on the outside. And then we've got 2 machine screws, and this holds the fan bracket onto the radiator on the inside. And then the fan is going to be oriented with the wire coming out on the short side on the bracket. So just like this. then we're going to take these 4 screws, screw them in right here, and then we could mount the bracket onto the radiator. Alright, so we got the 2 sheet metal screws in here. You do not want to tighten these too much. I think the spec is like 2 Newton meters or 1.5 foot-pounds. Super easy to strip out, so you don't want to tighten them too tight. I've got the other screws in there, but there's just no way of fitting something back in there without taking off the radiator, so that's what we're going to do. It's just going to be a 6mm bolt on this clamp. Have something to catch coolant. And then right when you get that radiator off, you can easily get something back in here and tighten this all up. Alright, so the radiator fan comes with this connector. The OEM connector is right here. You can kind of see it up there. All you're going to do is just pop this guy in there. There is a rounded side of the connector that has to mate with the radiator fan connector. There we go. Make sure everything snaps in there. Tuck it up away. Should be good to go. And then there's also a clip right here where you can put the wire in there to hold it in place. Alright, so we got both radiator guards installed. Super solid, super tough, lots of coverage. Fits really snug, really nice, really clean fit. And then it's the same thing on the other side, minus the radiator fan. Super well built. Really impressed with this. We're going to use the Motor X M 3.0. It's just the OEM coolant. A lot of different coolants will work, but taking off this cap is a huge pain if you don't have a tool. I think Bulletproof Design makes a tool to pull this thing off. And we're just going to fill it up. Alright, so the fuel line, it's kind of hard to see, but it kind of goes under the battery. You don't want to route it down along the fuel tank or it'll get jammed up in there. There's a tiny little hole that I can barely fit through. And then when you drop the tank down all the way, you can get it and reach down all the way. Alright, so you want to make sure these fenders are clipped in all the way. Make sure the tank's seated all the way. Then we can put on the fuel line. Got the seat on, gas tank cap, got the radiator shrouds bolted up, got the radiator fan all installed. Should be good to go.